Hi everyone. By the end of this class, you'll be able to make questions using used to. We'll practice making yes and no questions and WH questions. For example, you'll be able to make questions such as, what sports did you used to play when you were a child? Did you used to collect anything when you were a child? What kind of things did you used to do for fun when you were a kid? As I mentioned previously, what we're going to do in this class is we're going to learn how to form questions using used to. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on creating yes and no questions, as the one that I'm circling there. Did you use to collect things? That's a yes or no question. And then the way to answer that, yes, I used to collect comic books, or no, I didn't used to collect anything. And also we're going to learn how to create those WH questions with used to. Let me start by presenting the structure. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to make sense of the two questions that are here. As you can see, the first question is a yes or no question. And the second question, what sports did you used to play? That's an information question. That means that we have a WH word. So let's try to make sense of the first one first. The yes or no questions don't have a WH word and therefore start with did. So did you used to, and it follows the verb in the present, collect things. Did is the auxiliary that we're going to use, and then that follows the subject. In this case, it happens to be you. That is going to follow used to. If you notice, used to is not in the past, it's in the present. And then it's going to follow the verb in its present tense. And then finally, we'll have some sort of complement. And how do we answer this type of questions? Well, we can either have a positive response such as, yes, I used to collect comic books, or no, I didn't used to collect anything, but now I collect art. So let me try to give a couple of more examples, and we're going to continue to use that same structure. We want to focus on doing yes and no questions at this moment, so let me ask you the following question. Did you used to listen to rock music? Okay. Did you, I'm going to say, did you play sports in high school? There we go. Now let me talk about creating WH questions. As you can see, that's the one at the bottom. I mentioned that WH questions, we use this kind of questions to ask for information. And we'll borrow the example, we'll borrow that question that you see there. What sport did you used to play? So let me go ahead and write that down. What sports did you used to play? Sometimes we're going to have a complement, sometimes we're not. In this case, we don't have a complement, but what sports? That's the WH word. That follows auxiliary did. And then after that, we're going to have a subject. After that, we're going to have used to. Notice that used to is in the present, and that follows the verb in its present form. Then sometimes you're going to have a complement, sometimes you're not. So let me write a couple of more questions here so that you can get the hang of it. What video games did you used to play when you were a kid? Okay, that'll be another one. So what video games, that will be my WH word. It follows the auxiliary did. Subject is you, used to, and the verb in its present form, and then whatever complement. The last thing that I would like for you to do is to practice making questions. You're going to make yes or no questions and also WH questions. What I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to post some answers, and what you're going to do is you're going to come up with the best possible question to the answers that are stated here. You need to identify whether the answer is from a yes or no question, or is it from a WH question, and answer that accordingly.